So you'll be working and your baby is like, mommy, 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 and you're getting pissed off at the same time because you really need to hit your deadline. At the same time, you really need to give attention to your child. So when you tell your child, Aki, please go and play and do something else, I just need time to. When your child leaves, you feel guilty that you had to choose work over your own child. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who are new here, my name is Stella Muyoka, and my channel is about motherhood. Anything to do with motherhood, we talk about it in a way that we need mothers to just connect, feel supported, and also feel loved. And just knowing that in this journey, you're not alone. We are all going through either the same journey, but with very different experiences. And without further ado, today I would want to talk about something that we face as moms, and this is about mom guilt. And basically, I just want us to talk about how we can be able to handle now the mom guilt. And mom guilt is it's just a feeling. It's a lingering feeling that you have that you're not doing enough, you're not being enough, or maybe you're just not being present enough as a mom. Despite it's something that cuts across all aspects we have of motherhood. You wake up and you sit, you do something and you feel like, well, I'm not doing enough. So I speak about. I usually advocate that we should not actually use pain as a way to actually discipline our kids. And I talk about my journey because when I was starting out as a mom, I really did want to do this because it's something that I never liked. I never liked actually being caned when I was young. I never understood the aspect of it. I never got the reason as to why they were doing the same, and I didn't want to do the same to my child. So it got to a point where I think I'm frustrated. Both of us are frustrated. We need so much of attention from each other. And I think at that point is where I actually caned my child, and I was so guilty about it. I think I went I went in a deep dive of now researching and all that, and I realized I was just frustrated, and we were all we were not at our best, both of us, both my son and I. And I did it a couple of times, but I realized when you start doing it, you continue doing it until you need to stop yourself. You need to stop. And if you're a mom that has never done that, I don't recommend it, because I feel like I say sometimes I think it's an addiction that we get, because it helps you ease out your own frustration, which is bad in the way we say that we're disciplining our kids. And that is one thing that made me feel guilty. I felt like I had actually wronged my son. And but I learned that recognizing I already recognized I didn't want to do this, and I felt bad about it. I had the mom guilt, and I sat down and looked at ways I can be able to go forward. And the most funny thing is I had to apologize to my child. We just have to sit down and look at, where does mom guilt come from? And one, I think we get mom guilt from unrealistic expectation from society and social media. Society over and over again have told us how to be a mom. And sometimes you feel like when you go to a point where you feel like you've not met the expectation from society, you start having the guilt that you're not doing enough for your child. Another one is I think also social media. You go online, you see Linda has done this for their baby. Why did I not do this for my baby? Or someone went to give birth in a very nice hospital, comfortable and all that. You're asking yourself, why couldn't I do this for my baby? The guilt, just saying that maybe you didn't do enough for your child, but in reality you've done enough, the best you could for your baby. Another one is comparing ourselves to other moms. This is something we do, I think, unconsciously, sometimes consciously. And I also think that people also compare themselves to you as moms, and I think this is something we need to stop totally, because my parenting journey is going to be different from you, and if I choose this path, allow me to choose this path. Because I was during my period of frustration, I was looking at what other people were doing to their kids, and I think I became a bit comfortable to do that, and I really actually honestly regret, and I feel like sometimes I should have sat down and thought about it. So you also have to, you see a mom has maybe I've used this kind of discipline on my child, and it has worked for them, and you try on your child, it doesn't work for them. You start not feeling guilty. You start feeling guilty as maybe you failed your child for not knowing how the best way actually to discipline them. And another thing is from working moms, that's it. Sometimes you go to work, especially when your baby is young. I think that comes when the baby is 3 months old and you're going back to work. There's really that guilt that you feel, and I think at a point I used to feel like I should have been allowed to actually go for like 12 months with my child in the house, because I'm feeling guilty that my child is young and I have to go back to work. There's no other option. I have to go to back to work because it's required that after 3 months you go back to work. So there's that guilt that you feel like when you're working away from home and you feel like you're not doing enough for your child, and you're not. It's like you are choosing work over your own child. We also have cultural and generational pressures that we get. Like with every culture has a different way of how moms parent their kid, and you feel like if you just choose a way that is a bit different from what your culture is used to, there's usually you feel there's that judgment that comes, and also from people, and it tends to make you feel feeling like you've not done enough for your own child, and wanting me time. I think this is a struggle we have, like all of us. Like I had mentioned before, it's like you are tired, you need to rest. But when you rest, you feel like you've neglected your child. Yet you really need this rest. But so you start feeling, that back and forth. So you might get out of bed and just go be with your child because you're guilty. You're feeling like I resting is doing injustice to my own child. So how does guilt show up like in our daily life? Like we said, let me give you like an example I have. Like, well, we've actually been working from home for quite a while, and sometimes you find that I have like a deadline. Like my deadline might be uh, maybe tomorrow morning I have to work on, and I need a couple of hours to work on something on work, and I'm really busy working on it, and my child needs my attention. So you'll be working and you'll be like, mommy, 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 and you're getting pissed off at the same time because you really need to hit your deadline. At the same time, you really need to give attention to your child. So when you tell your child, Aki, please go and play and do something else, I just need time to. When your child leaves, you feel guilty that you had to choose work over your own child. So another also over concept. This one I'm very guilty. I overcompensate with actually gifts a lot. I tend to when let's say I'm working and my child is being needing attention. I tend to, I give him money. I might give him money to buy what he wants. Or I might come back maybe tomorrow with toys that he wanted. If he wanted a monster truck, I will bring it. You see, so this is what I am guilty of, but it's also a sign that shows how mom guilt actually shows up in actually our lives. And another thing is saying yes when you're burnt out, because I have had days where my child wants to play and I'm so burnt out, but I will stand and I will jump and jump because I don't want to tell. One thing I was reading about, kids, the best way to bond with your child, especially at a younger age, is attention, and attention comes from playing games. And we were looking at a study where you see that we were trying to understand why you find that kids are closer to their dads than to their moms. And it's because you find that moms actually never used to have time to play with their kids because they were nurturing and catering for them. So you find that kids played with their dads and bonded with their dads more because they were playing, because kids see love and attention as you playing with them. So you can just, like, if you take, and this is something I do consciously because I read about it, and when you see, you'll find that it actually benefits you and your child, because when you take like 20 minutes to just play with your child, it actually fulfills you, and it is going to fulfill your child because your child will feel loved and actually seen, and it goes both ways. So that is why we also encourage mom, other than just catering for your child, you can also try to bond with your child through that. But I will also share later like ways on which you can bond with your child during the different stages and the milestones, the different age group they go. And then what else do I feel? I also feel like we get the guilt because you're tired and you say, oh, let me do like 20 minutes. But we know kids, when you start playing with a child, they want more and more of it. Yet you're tired, you're burnout, and if you decide to sit down and just rest, you feel also guilty, like you actually doing something against your own child, and doubting every decision. I remember when I was we relocated to Nairobi and I was looking for schools. I had chosen a specific school. I had chose a specific school that my child is currently in, and I had gone to around, I think, 3 schools. I had gone to around 3 schools during that period. So I had gone to that school. I liked it. It's a bit pricey. Then I went to another one. I didn't like it. Then I went to another one. So I had made a decision for the school, but I kept on, I was looking for if there's another, I'm going back and forth looking for other schools. I am not making that, this is where we're going, this is it. But I had already like chosen the house. Like, I was making the unconscious decisions in there, but with my actions of doing something totally different. But I'm grateful that I really stuck with that decision, because it came to show up later that it was a good choice that I made. Even my child himself loves the school, and he'll tell you for free, I love the school. And how do I personally handle mom guilt? So, like I was, one thing I know about when you're being guilty, or when you are in a vulnerable situation, you just have to be honest, no matter how bad or messy it is. Just be honest with yourself, because I feel like we tend to lie to ourselves, and when you lie to yourself, you don't become you don't it's like you're hiding parts of yourself. So I remember when I came to the realization that this is not what I want for my child, or I've been doing something wrong for my child. Again, I've been doing something wrong to my child. I think it was like around it was 11 p.m. when I was having the realization, because I came across a video on TikTok. It was a lady from South Africa, and she was talking about why is it that Africans actually use pain to actually discipline their children. And she talked about points that reminded me of the reason as to why I don't have to cane my child. And I think one of the reason is because I keep on mentioning it. I say is because your child cannot it's like they cannot fight for themselves. They are in your eyes. This is someone who cannot even fight back. This is someone who cannot even talk back at you. This is someone who cannot tell you, mommy, whatever you're doing to me is wrong, because they also don't know, because you're teaching your child how to be treated. And she gave a lot of pointers. And we also, another thing we look at it like she also reminded me that if I made a mistake, how would I want someone to actually beat the shit out of me because I made a mistake, to remind me that I need to do better? Or would I want someone to be to give me grace and talk me through my mistake, and also just help me understand between the consequences? And equally the same, like when you talk to your boss at work, and maybe your boss has agitated you, do you fight your boss, or do you fight your boss to just prove a point or something? No, we control the anger. So why is it that we can't control the anger when it comes to our children mistake? So you see, so in such kind of a setting, I was able actually to get an overview of I'm actually grateful for her video. I got an overview of why I chose this path from the beginning. And I also looked at a reason as to why I went against my own beliefs, and I was so guilty about it. And I remember I woke my child up, and I told him, I'm so sorry, and I will never do it again. And I've actually never done it again. And I also know that parents actually don't apologize to their kids. And I think this is something you also need to learn, because if I'm at fault and I apologize, it's something I'm teaching my child. If you're wrong, you need to apologize. So I woke my child up, and I promised him not to do it again, and I've never actually done it again. But also it helped the both of us, because my child also had become he was fighting a lot. Though it doesn't come from that, it just comes from we stayed with one of our nephews for a while, and he used to fight a lot. So he had to defend himself. So he learned how to fight through that. And I've realized since I stopped, when I stopped doing it, and I told him consciously that I'm not going to do this again, you see that every time he wants to react, he will pause. He will pause for a minute, and he knows that when he's feeling mad and all that, he needs to do deep breaths for like 5 times. He counts. He does 1. He counts. He does 2. He does 3. Sometimes he forgets, but when the moment he raises his hand, you'll see him stop. He's stopping himself. So these are the kind of things we just talk about. So, and also just you have to reframe your thoughts, because when you're guilty, when you get the mom guilt, it's like all the negative thoughts are streaming in. So you have to reframe your thoughts, and this is where affirmation comes. I'm doing my best. I am enough. I'm allowed to make mistakes. No, there's no perfect mom. We are all human. You have to have the affirmations. So I feel like affirmations are something that will help you reframe your own thoughts. And you also still have to set boundaries without guilt, because it gives you and your child a bit of a structure. Kids test your limits. So depending on how they know, if I cross this line, there's consequences, and they know that. That's one thing you need to know about your kids. They know, but they will try to cross and cross and cross to just see whether or not you're going to be firm on the boundary. And as a parent, you need to be firm on that boundary, because why? It teaches your child how to set boundaries. That is why you find that many of us didn't actually learn about setting boundaries, and we ended up becoming what? People pleasers. So, and you need to know that your child learns from you. Like, if your child screams in your house, and I keep saying this, if your child screams in your house, know you scream in your house. And if you're not the one who's screaming, there's someone screaming in the house and to the child. Like, every weird character you get, the child learns from an adult, because a baby is born like barely without any experiences. The experiences they have is based on the interaction of the people they have close to them. Not everyone else. It's usually the ones who are close to them. So you observe how your child behaves, and it can tell you how you behave. And if you're cautious enough, you will see your mistakes and you will change. And it will help you actually, it will help your child become, if you're empathetic, your child will be empathetic. If you're mean, they will be mean. You see, it goes and goes. That is why we usually say that you find that sometimes some generational curses are going through. It's just through learning. It's through learning from generation to generation, because for us, we learned that we need pain to, be disciplined. We take the same there. We don't know anything else. I mean, I don't blame people, because I know most African parents, or even us, don't, most African parents, we are all African parents anyway, we don't know any other method of actually disciplining our child. So the affirmations I like to use, other than the ones, is like, my love is enough. It makes you know that whatever love you're giving your child is enough for your child. Also, I don't have to be a perfect mom. There's no perfect person. Perfection is something that we've been told to chase, but in actual sense, it doesn't exist. But then it doesn't exist actually. So we are all human. We're allowed to have mistakes. And perfectionism is something that comes from when you're growing up and you're not allowed to, have mistakes, is when you try to chase perfection. But we are learning that it's okay to make a mistake. And this is something you also need to teach your child. When they break a glass, they pour water, be gracious to them. They pour food. If it's a mistake, you tell them it's okay to make a mistake. When we make a mistake, whatever the mistake is, we find ways to actually amend. These are things you're supposed to teach your child. So I'm allowed to rest is something you need. I have friends that actually, they can be sick and they still go to work. Like, you can literally see this person is struggling, but they're still, I keep on asking them, what is wrong with you? But you realize that especially the millennials, we were never actually allowed to rest. Like, your mom never allowed you to just sit on a couch and just, be. If I know you remember this, if your mom sees you on the couch, it's all of a sudden there's utensils to wash, all of a sudden there's clothes she wants to do, all of a sudden they need you to mop. Like, we were never allowed to rest, and you got into that culture where we don't rest. And I came to realize this because I will find it took me a minute to actually learn how to rest, because I used to realize that I had done 5 years of work and I never actually took a leave. I know it's interesting, but yes, I would wait till December to just take a leave. And it was it was something weird to realize and all that. And just a small reminder to moms out here, you're doing the best, you're doing actually better than you think. And this is key because this is where we do comparison to other moms, but you're doing better than you think. Your child doesn't need a perfect mom, and I insist on this. Your child needs actually a present and a happy mom. That's why we say a happy mom, a happy child. And I want you to look at two scenarios that you've had in your life. Like, look at when you're frustrated. I say it's very key, because this is where we fail our kids. When you're frustrated, what frustrations are you going through? And I think most of the time, especially financial or work, how do you react to your child? Like, when you're with your child, how do you treat your child? And then I want you to look at moments where you're happy. Just observe yourself. Moments where you're happy or fulfilled. How do you treat your child? And when you look at these two things, it's going to help you know how to balance your motherhood, and also it's going to teach you how best to treat your child, because no matter the frustration, you need to treat your child the way you treat your child when you're happy. But if you can't, this is where we say sometimes it's okay to take a rest, or just stay a bit far away from your child. Or you can look for means on how to relieve the frustration, because I feel like physical exercise does that best. That is why you guys beat your kids. Physical exercise does that best for you. When you go to the gym, or you just run, or you do mostly the exercising and the moving of the body actually helps you actually get a very good mental clarity. Even though journaling does it, but I feel like the physical exercise does better for you. That's why you feel nice when you beat your child. And lastly, guilt is not proof of failure. It's just proof that you care. You care. If you're not guilty about your actions, it means you don't care about the actions that you've done. But if you're feeling guilty, it means you're looking for the best possible way for you to be a very good mom to your child. And one thing I've realized about now, how best can you release this? I feel centered. I struggle a lot with anxiety. And I know anxiety shows up differently in different people. As for me, I get the tummy butterflies, and all that. And I know situations where I get that. So sometimes even when I'm talking, you'll see that I have like my voice is breaking. When I'm anxious, my voice will break always. And I feel sometimes I usually have this feeling like it's like your stomach is turning. It's anxiety. It's anxiety that I have sometimes. Your stomach is turning and all that. And I know it shows up differently in different people. So I realize that I'm usually centered with deep breaths. And even when I'm stressed out, I feel like when you do the breathe in, you hold, and then you release. It actually centers you. It calms your mind and every part of your body, even your muscles. And I feel like this is something you can learn. You can just you do you do 4 sets of it. You breathe in, you hold a bit, and then you breathe out to just help you. And then you also need to just have a mantra you live by. As on my side, I usually I've told you this. I see my child as an adult. I see my child as me, and how best would I want to be treated if I was this child? And that's how I treat my child. And one gracious thing you're supposed to do is forgive yourself every day. If you've done a mistake, whatever it is, if it's something you've said you're going to change, you repeat it again, it's okay. You just need to forgive yourself, because it will you forgive yourself. And when you forgive, you release off, the guilt and all that, and it's going to make you, be you be authentic to yourself. And once you are grounded in who you are, it's easy for you to to follow the values and the goals you set for yourself, and just parent your child, and also just go through the journey as you. And I thank you so much, guys, for just being with me and for listening to me talk. And if you like this kind of content, you can go back to the other videos and watch. There's so much information for you to learn, and to share also about your experiences. So you can share. If you have someone you feel like this is going to work for them, you can share. You can share on your WhatsApp status, your Instagram, your Facebook. Whatever areas you can be able to share for others mom to actually see. We're trying to grow our community, and the more we are, the merrier. So thank you so much, and enjoy your day. Bye.